Hello and welcome. Tonight on Business Live, a special report from Treasury in the Eastern region where farmers are experiencing the devastating impact of delayed payments for cocoa beans, a major income earner for our economy. Also tonight, we will subject a study by the National Food Buffer Stock Company showing majority of households are 90% food secure to some analysis. And as more banking firms migrate to tech platforms, the Bank of Ghana has issued new directives to protect banks against cybersecurity threats. We'll tell you all about it. Thanks for being with us. Details after this break. Welcome back, everyone. Tonight, economic activities in cocoa-growing communities are grinding to a halt due to delay in payment for cocoa beans. This problem has persisted for almost 2 months, the longest many farmers have realized. The Cocoa Board has indicated funds will be released to licensed buying companies. Farmers say the financial difficulties have had a devastating impact. Nanaya Ojima paid a visit to farmers in Treasury in the Eastern region and has more.
69-year-old Rebecca Mwako has been farming cocoa all her life. Gradually, weeds and diseases are taking over her farm as she watches on helplessly. Already, Rebecca owes laborers and chemical sellers huge sums of money, a debt she hopes to pay after selling cocoa beans from the farm.
I planned cutting down the cocoa to grow cola nuts. At least, the buyers pay the farmers though the amount is small. It is better than seeing my farm destroyed by pests.
Throughout her years in the cocoa farming business, this is the first time Rebecca's money has been delayed for this long after selling to the merchant. The situation is not different on the part of James Ekwamwa, who has already given out 6 bags of cocoa beans to the merchant between December and January. He is bagging another for the merchant, though he has thousands of cedis in debt. James, aside the money owed laborers, is unable to cater for his family.
I have many laborers working on my farm. I still owe the tricycle rider who transport the cocoa to the house. It's difficult to find money to transport my children to school. My prayer is that none of them falls ill.
Life at Treasury has become difficult for many since they all depend on cocoa farming to survive. The impact of the locked up cash has affected the economy. Even traders are not spared. Charles Buensi is a cocoa merchant here. He is indebted to many people in the community but has managed to pay them in bits through the limited funds he occasionally receives from the buying company.
Though there is no money, some bring the beans, but others keep them in the house.
The situation is not only affecting communities in the Eastern region, but Ashanti, Western, Bono and other cocoa growing areas. For the Ghana National Association of Cocoa Farmers, the fear is the default in payment of loans contracted for their members. Stevenson Ananibuatin is national president.
Banks, when he gives you money, as to whether there's a problem or not, they don't care. They need their money. So we need government to come in and then help us to pay the money. Otherwise, we are also losing the chance of getting a loan for our members for this season.
The Ghana Cocoa Board enjoys exclusive rights to the purchase of cocoa beans in Ghana. The board explains the COVID-19 pandemic has affected demand for cocoa on the world market, but assures farmers they will be paid in the next few days. Many cocoa farms are being taken over by pests and weeds due to inability of cocoa farmers to raise money for the maintenance of these farms. This, if not solved immediately, threatens cocoa production in the country. For JoyNews, Nanaya Ojima reporting.
Sad to see the plight of our cocoa farmers and what is happening on our cocoa farms. Mind you, cocoa is a major income earner for our economy, so it's not too good what is happening. Well, there has been significant improvement in food security in the last 2 years. So according to the chief executive of the National Food Buffer Stock Company, Hanan Abdul Wahab, a research conducted in 32 districts of the country indicates that majority of households surveyed were more than 90% food secure. Hanan Abdul Wahab spoke to Joy Business at the opening of a national validation workshop on food storage and procedure manual in Accra.
The country's food security has been a topical issue in the past few days due to the pronouncement by the Minister-designate for Food and Agriculture during his vetting that the country is safe. According to the National Food and Buffer Stock Company, food security conditions are showing signs of significant improvement as the widespread harvest of staple grains have facilitated the recovery of households from constrained access to food. Chief Executive Hanan Abdul Wahab told Joy Business that the National Food and Buffer Stock Company expanded storage capacity to be able to receive food from the harvest of the Planting for Food and Jobs program.
So there have been some increase in production as compared to previous administration. So food security, the basic definition of it is the availability and also the pricing. But of course, sometimes the pricing too, because we have 2 seasons, or let me say 3 seasons in the country, where we have the major and minor in the south and only major in the north. But most agricultural activities are also done in the north. And over there in the north, agriculture or farming is done according to the season. People only farm when it's in the rainy season. So for example, 12 months in the year, farmers are engaged for 3 months and they are disengaged for 9 months. And that is why we have also introduced the One Village, One Dam program so that farmers will have access to water bodies whereby they can do farming as and when they wish. So the food security situation in general, like you said, is good as compared to previously, but there's more room for improvement because in other parts of the country, like I said, when they are in the dry season, prices of food tends to be what? High.
Consultant for the National Food Storage Policy and senior lecturer at the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, Dr. Robert Edu has been speaking about the importance of a food storage policy in the quest to ensure food security in the country.
And we think that if we want to win the war against food insecurity, then we have to focus on a policy that addresses storage, a policy that addresses distribution. I'm sure you're following the maize discussion and the fact that prices are going up. If you speak to people who are in the hinterlands, some of them will tell you that the prices there are low. But you come to Kumasi, you come to Accra, and the prices are up there. What it means is that we have surpluses stuck somewhere, and then at some other parts of the country, we don't seem to have enough. So if we can have a holistic policy that addresses all the logistical concerns, all the transportation challenges and storage challenges, then Ghana will be able to produce and also distribute. Then we can also hold the stock for a long period of time so that when we talk about food security, it can be stable for a very long period of time.
The 2-day workshop will also be used to validate the policy and move towards approval by the relevant authorities.
So it's not just the National Food Buffer Stock Company that is convinced about our state of food security. The Agri Minister-designate is convinced there has been significant improvement. Listen to him.
The state of food security, Honorable Chairman, is very solid. We've never, as a country, been in a situation like this for many years. And I'm saying this, it's so obvious. If you go to our markets, even in the midst of our dry season today, from the north to the east to the west, you'll see along the way on the high roads, the minor roads, a lot of food being sold. And you look at the prices and so on, you'll realize that these prices are far less than in previous years for the seasons that we are talking about.
Well, joining me to discuss this further is Chief Executive of the Chamber of Agribusiness Ghana, Anthony Morrison. Thanks for your time tonight, Anthony. Your thoughts first on the study by NAFCO, which suggests majority of households are 90% food secure. That is absolutely some good news there, isn't it?
Yes, of course. And this very good evening to your viewers. I think that, well, let's first of all look at the main tenets of food security. Okay, we're talking about accessibility, availability, utilization, and stability. And for me, another area that I want to look at is the UN definition and what actually encompasses food security. And it's all about having the means, okay, all people at all times have to physically have access to food, socially, economically, and access to sufficient, safe, and nutritious food that meets their food preferences and dietary needs for an active and healthy life. If this is the case in the 32 areas that they have carried their research or undertaking their activity, that is fine. But we do know the World Food Programme has also carried out some or has profiled the food security endemic situations in the country. The chamber itself did some as well. We can say for a fact that you'll be surprised that one of the most endemic when it comes to food security, especially when it comes to dietary and healthy needs, is the area of Nungua Teshie and most of the fishing communities in the country. So I don't know what measures they are using. Of course, the buffer stock company doesn't do areas of livestock and aquaculture. So we can't use only crops as the benchmark for assessing the food security situation of the country. And to a large extent, the comment by the Minister for Agriculture also goes to emphasize that the country have for a long time neglected the importance of livestock and aquaculture. And I think that measures of using crops alone to determine the food security of this country will not be completely right by international standard and also by the sustainable development goals that the country ascribed to.
I'm just wondering, so what's the point in having food available but at a higher cost? Because over time, people have complained about how expensive food is. That also affects access, doesn't it?
Yes, it does, because the preferences must be there. If you take one major commodity, which is maize, maize is consumed, about 70% of Ghanaians consume maize products. It can be cocoa, it can be banku, kenke, gari, across the board. And even when it comes to livestock, maize is a major component when it comes to the poultry and aquaculture feed additives. So yes, we've seen the prices of maize shot up from 58 cedis per 50 kg to 120 cedis at the same time within the past 4 months. This has a lot of attributes, or can be attributed to a number of things: hoarding, climate change, and post-harvest losses, and many other things. But I must say that if you look at the other areas of the commodity that we enjoy most, the tubers, the roots and tubers, and others, we have seen some very good availability. But just as you said, yes, you can see the size of your kenke these days. You can see the size of your banku these days, and even the gari that you buy. So if we use that as a yardstick, yes, to some extent, we have seen some shortages of these commodities on the market, especially their prices. But we have also seen some increment, okay, availability of some other produce. But looking at tomatoes, for instance, the tomato issue has been on the news for some time now. Accessibility, that's one. Those who import from Burkina Faso says that our local tomatoes are not, otherwise, their shelf life are not good. The fiber that we need, the fiber that is the dietary that we need, the local tomato variety doesn't support what is coming from Burkina Faso. So yes, these are the indicators on the ground. And I think that as a country, we need to work to a large extent to look at our information asymmetry, build our agricultural information management systems, because these are the indicators that will give us what is prevailing on the ground.
Okay, and I have to add that even if food is available and people are not able to buy, then it goes bad. So we see the situation where we have post-harvest losses, right? I'm just wondering, going forward, how do we ensure that, Ghanaians have access to cheaper food?
Well, the only way we can do that is through our national food storage strategy. Currently, we are undertaking the validation workshop, and I'm sure that by the time we finish with it, and which is in line with the ECOWAS protocol, we should be able to have a more robust food storage system. Then also we need to also reduce what I refer to as too much use of fertilizers or chemicals on our farms. Then again, for the nutritional aspect, my major appeal to the government is to look at a strategy to at least name one district in every region as an organic-free district. This will otherwise help local producers of organic fertilizers and organic chemicals to commercialize their activities, and also to bring to us, the consumers, a more healthy and nutritious food. This is the only way I'm sure that we can, too much of chemicals is not good for the system. And everybody now is talking about niche crop and niche product, and we need to build our immune system. The COVID is a major challenge now, so we are all building our immune system. So we need to look at how we can grow more nutritious organic food and safer food, most importantly, safer food for the uptake of the body.
Anthony Morrison, Chief Executive of the Chamber of Agribusiness Ghana, thanks so much for your time tonight. You heard me speak with Anthony Morrison there, who is calling for a more robust food storage system to consolidate gains with food security here in Ghana. The Bank of Ghana has issued a new set of cybersecurity directives for players in the financial and banking sector, influenced by COVID-19 pandemic, which has forced many lenders to rely on tech platforms to deploy their services. George Rafe has details.
This directive, Governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Ernest Addison, noted that the drive towards digitization by these commercial banks because of the pandemic has exposed them to cyber risk and fraud. The directive will, among others, ensure that these commercial banks institute an effective management policies when it comes to their cyber and technology operations. It also ensures that these institutions build robust systems to deal with assisted threats as they try to reach out to their customers. The governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Ernest Addison, was worried that these developments, if not checked, could be the biggest challenge that would hit the banking sector as they try to survive or mitigate threats stated with the second wave of COVID-19. Therefore, all hands must be on deck, he argued, to deal with this challenge. A careful look at the environment has seen more banks issuing contactless debit and credit cards, as well as other new platforms for various financial transactions. Recent data from the Ghana Interbank Payment and Settlement System has seen a 100% spike in most of their platforms for transferring money and the various financial transactions. But what this will mean that whilst banks try to reduce the numbers in their banking hall and the human-to-human contact, these platforms will come with some extra scrutiny for customers going forward.
Now, government exceeded its Treasury Bill sale target by a little above 67% as interest rates continue to fall for the third week running, albeit marginally. Charles Nixon looks at the trading results.
Even successive week, the government was able to mobilize enough funds from Treasury Bill sale. The government's Treasury Bill auctioning was 67% oversubscribed. There were a lot of foreign investor participation, and that comes as a good omen for the country because there is still more attraction as far as foreign investment is concerned in this particular instrument. Secondly, interest cost on the Treasury sale was also lower, and this is the third successive week that we have seen decline in interest rates as far as Treasury bills are concerned. So that tells us that the government was successful in killing two birds with one stone, and that is a very good news for the country. On the other hand, the banks that invest heavily in Treasury bills were not able to do so, in the sense that the government rejected some of the bids. Therefore, there will be enough liquidity available to be on lend to businesses and household consumers. So overall, there were three achievements. One, government was successful in mobilizing enough revenue to pay off maturing debt, as well as refinance part of its 2021 budget. Secondly, interest payments would go down to some extent, even though it will be marginal. Thirdly, there will be enough liquidity for the banks to on-lend to household and businesses.
We want to bring you another conversation on the Continental Free Trade Area Agreement. The Ghana National Chamber of Commerce and Industry is organizing a sensitization seminar on the trade deal. The event, which is slated for Wednesday, the 24th of February, is on the theme after adopting the right business strategies to fully benefit. We are joined by Chief Executive of the Chamber, Mark Bedu Abuaji, to tell us more about the program. Great to have you on Business Live tonight. So it's been more than 6 weeks since we started implementing AFTA. So far, what's the story?
Well, the story is quite good. I think we have to do more. The number of companies that have been able to export under AFTA is relatively low, much lower than what we expected. And that is the main reason why we are organizing this program. We need to do a lot more of sensitization, orientation for the business community to understand the AFTA and how they can take full advantage of it. So I think we still have more to do in terms of how businesses in Ghana can take advantage of this AFTA.
Okay, and I'm sure there are business owners watching and wonder whether or not they qualify to be a part of this seminar. So what businesses are you targeting? Small businesses, medium-scale enterprises, or the big ones?
Well, it's cut across, whether you are big or whether you are small. You qualify to be part of this AFTA and qualify to take advantage of it. But one thing we have realized is that awareness is very low among the SMEs. They don't seem to really understand what the AFTA is, how they can take advantage of the AFTA, the protocols, how they can get access to other markets, and how they can incorporate AFTA activities into their strategies for 2021 and beyond. So basically, that is what we are doing on Wednesday to make sure that businesses really understand the protocols. The protocols are quite technical. And we are going to break it down into the more simplest form for an SME to understand, and also look at how they can take advantage of. You don't have to be so big a company or a business to take advantage of AFTA. I think there is something for almost everybody, all businesses to take advantage of within the AFTA.
So
on Wednesday, I will encourage everybody. I mean, if you want to know anything about AFTA, please don't miss the Wednesday program. It's at 10 a.m. Because of the COVID, we are limiting the in-person participation. But thankfully, we have multimedia on board. We have Joy Business. We have Joy FM cell phone on board. And I know you cover the entire country. So you can sit at the comfort of your homes and get access to all this information. We also have a Zoom platform that you can participate in. So let me say a big thank you to multimedia for coming on board. Please.
We are happy that we're on board.
Business.
Very happy we're on board. Just 30 seconds, if you can. If you could run us through the resource persons that will be speaking to these businesses.
I've assembled a very professional and renowned resource person. We have David Ofosudote, who is a business strategist and a legal person, who will be taking us through these strategies. We have Mr. Nyami Befi, who was a national negotiator, who is taking us through the protocols. We have Ernest Kemis, who is a business person, has gone through all the African countries, and they know the difficulties they go through in trading within the African countries. So he will share his experience with us and how we can improve. We have Mr. Gerard Mensah, who is also a consultant, an expert in market access. And we have Mr. Akuto, who is an expert in rules of origin. So all aspects of AFTA will be covered on Wednesday.
Great.
So please, whether you're a business running now or a potential business person, don't miss this opportunity. And
it will be certainly live on the JoyNews channel, so there's no way you can miss that one. And very important that you mentioned that the number of companies exporting and the awareness of AFTA is relatively low, something we must really tackle. Thanks very much for your time. Mark Bedu Abuaji, CEO of the G